about leaders in the community who are working for change. And in that article, he said, and I quote, "A county prosecutor who is willing to meet with individuals and groups to cut through red tape, whatever red tape means, when necessary, is a powerful asset to our community. Bringing the current county treasurer to the table might be a tough task for anyone, though." Well, today, in studio with me is that county treasurer, Alex Zumbar, along with North Canton Mayor David Held. Alex, what do you think he meant by that?
Well, he was referring to discussions that had taken place prior to 2018 and ongoing into 2018 through mid-February. And a agreement was provided to me for review and to execute by the Hall of Fame Village LLC project owner and developer, as well as basically a representative from the Pro Football Hall of Fame contacted me as to why I was not executing that particular agreement.
And what was that agreement?
It was a tax lien agreement that would bind me and my successor treasurers for 30 years. And it would also was an agreement that asked me to seek their consent or permission before I would attempt to do a tax lien certificate sale to collect on any potential delinquent taxes should that ever arise.
Okay, let's talk this in layman's language real quick. You were asked to sign a tax lien that basically would say what? That they don't have to pay taxes, property taxes, or what?
No. The agreement that they asked me to sign was basically trying to make sure that if the taxes on the property would ever go delinquent, I would first seek their permission to sell any potential tax lien certificate to make sure that we collected 100% of the property taxes that would be owed, and also that this agreement would be binding for a 30-year period. And that would mean binding not just myself,
but any successor.
But a successor treasurer. And that is not permitted by statute. It's not a permitted law.
Did they know it wasn't permitted?
I don't know.
Did you tell them it wasn't permitted?
Yes, and also my legal counsel, which is the prosecuting attorney's office, advised them.
Did they, after you told them, did they still ask you?
Yes.
Interesting. So you didn't do that, and so you are no longer at the table.
Well,
oh, you've never been at the table.
I've never been at the table,
yeah. All right.
But I certainly would always have an open dialogue with anyone. Everybody knows that my door is always open.
Why do you think he took a shot at you again July 8th after all this time, out of the blue, in an article that was mainly positive? He uses one sentence to take another shot at you. Why?
I really don't know the answer to that question. I also was puzzled by that, and as a result of it, I felt I needed to address it. So I made a telephone call, and that call had not been returned in an appropriate manner of time that I felt. So I decided to address it. I put my thoughts into words, my words into paragraphs. That paragraph became a letter. That letter was then sent to the publisher and his chief editor.
All right, now, I have to ask you both. And I asked this before, and I'm asking it to you, but what is the table? You keep hearing about being brought to the table. Let's bring you to the table, as if this table is a round table where everybody has an actual say. Is it a table for people with various opinions and those who may object and want to hold back and pull back or think a little bit? Or is it an elite club of those like-minded individuals who rubber stamp what Stu Lichter and Dave Baker want, in your opinion?
Well, I'm just from
that's too bold. I'm sorry. You don't have to answer that if you.
No, I'm from my perspective. I think what it is that when you look at the project, let's say like the Hoover District or the developer Stuart Lichter is responsible for, and the Pro Football Hall of Fame is another one. I think what happens is inherently the people in the community want it to succeed.
Right.
The leaders in the community want the projects to succeed.
And you do, and I do, and everybody else does.
Absolutely.
Yes.
The problem is that the developer's approach, IRG's approach to this, has allowed both projects to stall. And then the question is that as you start to ask questions, why isn't this project moving forward? Why is it after 3 years the building code, the fire code, the EPA requirements are not being met? Why is it that there's continuous excuses? When you're going down I-77, you can see that there is no progress. You have thousands and thousands of people every day that drive by and see that there is no progress.
They'll say it's because of you.
And that's
because it's the people who are stonewalling it. It's the fact that Alex Zumbar hasn't come to the table.
And that is absolutely ridiculous, because Alex is a treasurer. What Alex does is he collects property tax.
It's one of my primary responsibilities.
It's real simple.
I don't collect taxes. Yeah, if I don't collect property taxes, then the schools don't get their main source of funding. The subdivisions don't get their funding.
And if you went ahead and did this lien, you would bind other people. First of all, it's not permitted. Secondly, you would be showing kind of a favoritism to this specific entity and property versus some guy down the street.
Right.
That's correct. We've never done this in Stark County.
Okay.
Ever.
We've got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to keep going with this and drilling down a little bit with Alex Zumbar and the mayor of North Canton, David Held. Thanks.
We'll be back with more Joe Palmisano right after this.
Hey folks, Jay David here. You know, if it's Saturday, it's another edition of Local Places and Local Faces. We'll keep you in touch with hometown happenings. Plus, I'll have a little coffee talk with local guests. And we'll have fun features. Oh, and phone features too. Join me this Saturday at 12 noon for Local Places and Local Faces. It's live. It's local. It's 1480 WHBC.
You have combined 72 years of the highest quality service with the most respected name in heating and air conditioning, Lennox, and you have reliable heating and cooling. Lennox Comfort Systems, a great name, backed by the unsurpassed service, quality, and experience of reliable heating and cooling. And you have the perfect fit for your home. Why would you go anywhere else? If you're like me, you don't know a condenser coil from a butter knife. So we want someone who isn't going to play games, who we can trust, and someone who has our best interest in mind. You aren't around for 72 years if you don't do just that. For great savings on a new Lennox home comfort system, call the family-owned Reliable Heating and Cooling at 330-833-2651.
Rankle & Reese Motor Cars opened its doors in 1998. For over 20 years, Rankle & Reese has provided quality hand-picked vehicles with the best financing around. Credit worries? No problem. With the best financing options available, you can get a nicer, newer car with payments you can handle. Your next car, truck, or van, or SUV is waiting along with the friendly staff. So stop on out at Rankle & Reese Motor Cars, 4805 Tuscarora Street West in Canton, or online at rankleandreesemotorcars.com.
I'm Tiffany Haddish, and I use Groupon so much, they made me the spokesperson. It's summertime, and you gotta find your kids something to do, because an energetic kid with too much free time can land you in small claims court. Luckily, Groupon has deals on movies, bowling, escape rooms, amusement parks, and all kinds of things kids love. Save up to $100 a week on what you do every day this summer, like getting those kids out of the house. Download the app and save. Groupon.
Lumber Liquidators Pro Plus team is the partner to call for all your professional flooring needs. Our job is to save you time and money on every project. With LL Pro Plus, you'll get flooring solutions designed for professionals, nationwide distribution, pro exclusive offers, business line of credit, and more. LL Pro Plus. We're pros helping pros. No job is too large or too small. So put the flooring experts on your team and let's get started. Visit your local Lumber Liquidators store or lumberliquidators.com today.
Did you know that over 90% of male enhancement pills are virtually the same thing that's redone over and over again? Why settle for the same old product when you can get something that really works? Men, you need to try Noxitril, the explosive male enhancement formula that will unlock your performance in the bedroom to a level you could only dream of. Try to imagine Viagra on steroids. Call now for our special free bottle offer today.
Call 1-800-229-9517. That's 800-229-9517. 800-229-9517.
You'll be excited to hear it all. It's The Week That Was with Joe Palmisano on News Talk 1480 WHBC.
We are continuing our conversation with Stark County Treasurer Alex Zumbar and the Mayor of North Canton, David Held. I'm just going to go back real quick. You were asked to file a tax lien, to sign a tax lien on the Hall of Fame Village.
Tax lien agreement.
The tax lien agreement. At that point, if you sign that, which you're not permitted to do by Supreme Court, by statutes, the whole thing.
That's correct.
If you sign that, basically, you would then, if they were delinquent on their taxes, it would eliminate you being able to go out and sell that tax lien to another entity who would then have kind of control over that property, would have a lien on the property.
That's correct.
So you were asked to do this. You got legal authority on this, judgment on it. You said it's based on this code. It is not permitted. I am not going to have a 30-year lien put on that my successor and his successor or her successor is going to have to eat.
Well, let me just correct you there.
All right.
It's the tax lien agreement would remove my ability, essentially, to have I would have to seek permission or consent from the property owner.
The person who's delinquent.
Correct. And then if for whatever reason they said, no, don't sell a tax lien certificate, that would remove that option. Hypothetically, we're speaking here.
Right.
I did not execute that agreement because it's not permitted by statute.
Right. I get it. Now, but then you were asked again.
They kept asking, yes.
Yes. Okay. Now, this whole table thing, I find it interesting. The table, the people at the table, when the cost of stadium ballooned from $25 million to over $150 million, and it's still not completed, when contractors were not paid for about a year or more, where was the oversight of the people at the table? Who had oversight of this? Would you have had oversight of this? Would you have said something had you been at the table?
Without a doubt. The project cost was to be only $24.3 million, according to published reports in newspapers. And the moment that exceeded that number, that should have been a red flag, and questions should have been raised. Certainly, cost overruns can occur, but to my knowledge, this project has exceeded $139 million, according to newspaper reports.
And it's not done.
And it's not finished.
Now, David, I have to ask you this, David, Mayor Held. There's a video that came out early on in this where you were at a public meeting and you dared to get up and question.
Mm-hmm.
You were basically kind of talked over, almost basically told to sit down. You know, but you're not invited to the table either, I don't think.
Yeah. Well, I guess what it is that clearly you see that when you look at the Hoover District, when you look at the Hall of Fame project, you have the same developer and you have the same problems. And so what I did is I spoke up back in January because I've approached, first phase of the Hoover District is a great success. 12 companies, 1,100 jobs, $500,000 in income tax. It worked out really well. It is working out very well. Second phase of the project is sitting there. It's sitting there. We had plywood in the windows. We had the front lawn torn up. There was no activity. I spoke up.
And you said, and you basically were sending a warning.
Absolutely. And I met with the developer back on August 23rd of 2017, and I made it real clear to him. I said, you need to make sure that you're following through on your requirements, on the building code, the fire code. Now we have the US EPA regulations. Those are non-negotiables. They're non-negotiables. They have to be met. So in January, okay, oh yeah, man, we'll get it done. We're going to get it done. Okay, that was August. September, nothing. October, nothing. November, December, January, I thought, well, it's time to speak up. There's a problem. And then I started to see the same consistency with the Hall of Fame district. And then we hear, well, there's challenges, there's obstacles. When you look around the country, there are buildings and projects that are developed on a weekly basis. And the steps to any project, any development, it's pretty clear. Number one, secure financing. Number two, you develop a design. Number three,
you stay with that design.
Yes, you stay with the design and the budget. And then you construct it, and once it's constructed, you have inspectors that say, yes, it meets all the specifications, and people get paid. Now, when you have people not being paid by the developer, absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah.
Whether it's at the Hoover District or the Pro Football Hall of Fame, unacceptable.
Now, I have heard rumors, and this is all rumors, and you don't have to, but these are just hearsay rumors, that contractors are owed about another $11 million on the hotel part of the project.
That's correct.
I can't verify that, so I'm not, but we're seeing that same pattern happen again, if that's the case.
Well, if somebody was accusing me of not paying my bills, and it was not true, I'd speak out about it. It's when you have contractors, right? When you look at the standards with the NFL, with the Pro Football Hall of Fame, those standards of commitment to excellence, perseverance, integrity, we want those same standards applied towards these development projects.
Mm-hmm.
If a player's foot goes out of bounds, we got multiple cameras. Was the foot in bounds or out of bounds?
But when a stadium goes from 25 to 133 or 139 and not done, likely 170 by the time it's done or whatever, there are no cameras. We can't find anybody who on this table who said, I knew this was happening, we okayed it.
And God forbid you have somebody like Alex that questions something.
Yes.
And says, no, this is not legally permissible.
Or you, or me,
absolutely.
Or Martin Olson, or
right.
Janet Creighton, or anybody else who says, let's stop and think about this.
Yes, the elected officials, when you look at the county commissioners, when you look at the county treasurer, Alex, if the elected officials that represent the interests of the taxpayers, our responsibility is to protect the taxpayers' money.
Yes.
If our duty and responsibility is to question how the money's being spent.
But if you question, you're not on the table.
Right. And if people want to interpret it as that, then that's good. I mean, when you look at Alex, this man's character is intact.
I agree.
100%.
But he's taking shots. As of July 8th, he took another one. And that's why I wanted to give him the opportunity to speak. We've got to take a break real quick. We've got to go into news and sports, but we're going to continue this discussion in just a moment. Stay tuned.
back with more Joe Palmisano right after this. If you spot a news story in the making, let us know at newstip@WHBC.com. Get all the details at WHBC.com.
Life doesn't stop on the weekends, and neither do you. So we understand that it can be hard to find the time to shop for a mattress. This is Robin Trzynski of the Original Mattress Factory, and we have a completely new website designed to help you simplify the mattress shopping experience. Check out our products, view our prices, and even place an order for pickup, local delivery, or to have it shipped outside of our delivery area. Just visit originalmattress.com and find a thoughtfully made, honestly priced mattress of your own. The Original Mattress Factory. Great beds, no bull.
Make your move now to apartment living at Canton Christian Home before the snow flies. That's the suggestion from Molly and Katie, who live at Canton Christian Home. Their favorite thing to do is visit with neighbors and enjoy their cozy apartments. Molly's made lots of new friends, and Katie likes the fact that Canton Christian Home is pet-friendly. They're both so happy there, they wish it would have happened sooner. Visit Molly and Katie soon at Canton Christian Home. Pat their heads, those sweet little long-haired dachshunds, and say hi to their puppy parents, too.
Head on out to the Canton Farmers Market every Saturday from 8 to 11:30 a.m., rain or shine, for the area's freshest local produce, baked goods, meats, cheeses, flowers, local art, and so much more. You can find the Canton Farmers Market on the corner of 4th Street Northwest and McKinley Avenue Northwest in downtown Canton. Each week, there's something new, from children's art classes, gardening tips, to entertainment and more. Visit CantonFarmersMarket.com for all the current events. See you at the market.
This is WHBC AM Canton. News Talk 1480 WHBC.
I currently have 69 degrees. Good morning. J. David Ress, 1480 WHBC News. Acting on requirements set by the state of Ohio, Stark County Auditor's Office reevaluating or reappraising property values throughout Stark County. The state mandate requires the reevaluations every 6 years. The County Auditor's Office sending out notices to all property owners this next week. As the city prepares for this year's upcoming Hall of Fame activities, one of those jobs will include a downtown cleanup. Organizations will gather next Thursday to clean up areas around McKinley and Walnut, as well as 9th to 12th, and on Tusk from Cherry to the freeway. The Community Cleanup Day is coordinated by several agencies. For more information, you can reach out to the Canton Chamber of Commerce. Based on its passage, one of the possibilities for funding from the Stark County Educational Service Center's School Safety and Mental Health Levy could include a texting notification system that a number of school districts might participate in.
Certainly we would use the power of group purchasing to get that at the cheapest price.
That's retired Judge Mike Howard. He heads the Levy Campaign Committee. A deadly boat accident in Branson, Missouri has left 17 people dead and others wounded. We have this update.
We now learn through the governor that there was a family of 11 on board that ill-fated boat, and they lost 9 members of that family. Children were lost. The age ranges of the victims are between 1 year old and 70 years old. A severe thunderstorm warning was issued about a half hour before the duck boat capsized. The storm materialized quickly with winds over 60 miles per hour. On board at the time, 29 passengers and 2 crew members when it sank. The boat's driver was among those killed. The Stone County Sheriff cannot say if life vests were used. The NTSB and Coast Guard are taking over the investigation. The president of the company that owns the Branson duck boat says a sudden microburst of high winds materialized before the one boat capsized. Early on, investigators will look at the thunderstorm warning. Was it communicated? Was it taken seriously? But even Governor Parsons says, in the end, the blame may point to a fast-moving freak storm.
And that's what's happening this hour. Your AccuWeather forecast coming your way next. More news at 10 o'clock. Good morning.
Here's your AccuWeather.com forecast. It'll be mostly cloudy and humid for today with a few showers and thunderstorms around, so an unsettled Saturday. High 78. Shower thunderstorm in spots for tonight as well, low 61. Tomorrow, very similar to today, mostly cloudy, still humid, still some showers and storms around, a high of 78 again. Then for Monday, partly sunny, up to 83, with an afternoon thunderstorm in spots. I'm meteorologist Bill Degger for News Talk 1480 WHBC.
This is Mike Frazier, Senior Pastor of the Canton Baptist Temple, located at 515 Whipple Avenue in Canton, Ohio. Please join me for our radio broadcast Proclaiming the Truth each Sunday morning at 8:30 right here on WHBC. We would also love to have you visit one of our services this Saturday or Sunday. For a complete list of service times and ministry opportunities, please visit our website at cantonbaptist.org.
Summer's here. Soak it in with a limited edition Labatt Blue Light Lime. Beer featuring your favorite crisp and refreshing summertime flavor. Here's to the taste of summer. The beer you love with a splash of citrus. Grab some Labatt Blue Light Lime packs while you can. Because like summer, they're only here for a limited time. Labatt Blue Light Lime. This is how we summer. While supplies last. Beer, Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. Always enjoy responsibly.
We've made it easier than ever to listen to this radio station. Hear us anywhere, anytime on the free iHeartRadio app. The music, your favorite personalities, and the coolest contests all happen with one app. Listen to your favorite station wherever you want. Download the free iHeartRadio app today and let's start streaming.
Make 2018 the year you finally fix your water. And at Verndale's Water Center, you won't have to pay until 2019. Call or stop in today.
Tap into Verndale's Water Center. Tap into.
Good morning, I'm Dave Sheets. Here's a look at your sports. The Cleveland Indians began the second half of the season in Texas last night, taking on the Rangers. And despite the fact that Tribe closer Cody Allen gave up 2 solo home runs in the bottom of the ninth inning that tied the game at 8, the Tribe would rally and score a single run in the top of the 11th inning and beat the Rangers by a final score of 9-8. Edwin Encarnacion drove in that winning run with an RBI single in the top of the 11th. Same two teams coming up tonight with Indians warm-up starting at 7:35 here on WHBC. Former Orioles shortstop Manny Machado joined his new club Friday in Milwaukee, where the Dodgers opened a 3-game weekend series against the Brewers with a 6-4 victory. And Machado singled in his first at-bat and went 2 for 3 with 2 walks, and he says he's excited to join the Dodgers.
Just excited to be here. I mean, I know it's a great group, great organization, somewhere where got a lot of baseball history. So to come here, be myself, go out there and try to win some games for the ball club. I want to win a ring. Everyone in there wants to win a ring. You know, they fell short a little bit last year, and they want to get back there and not just get back there, but win it.
The third round of the British Open is underway at Carnoustie, Scotland. Zach Johnson and Kevin Kistner lead the way, tied at 6 under par. 3 other golfers are 1 shot back at 5 under, and there are 6 golfers now who sit at 4 under par. Justin Rose, today, a 7 under par 64. He is one of those at 4 under par for the tournament. Tiger Woods on the course, round 3 today. He is now 5 shots back of the leader. He sits at 1 under par through 5 holes. The 2 leaders tee off at 11 a.m. I'm Dave Sheets. That's a look at your sports.
Back to The Week That Was with Joe Palmisano on News Talk 1480 WHBC.
If you're just joining us, we are in studio. I'm in studio with Alex Zumbar, Stark County Treasurer, and North Canton Mayor David Held, and we've been talking for the last half hour about a series of events. Alex Zumbar was asked to sign a tax lien agreement that would basically take some tools out of his hands to collect property taxes if there was a delinquency, something that is not permitted. When explained that it was not permitted, he was asked to do it over and over and over. Mayor Held has been actively trying to just question things as this whole process has gone along with Hoover and with the Hoover Project, with the Hall of Fame and how they relate. And then kind of went away. I wasn't really talking about it a lot, I think it was, but then on July 8th, Jim Porter, the publisher of the Repository, came out with a story or an editorial where he basically took a shot at Alex Zumbar, and in a very, up to that point, very positive article, He said, bringing the current county treasurer to the table might be a tough task for anyone, though. So he took a shot. And basically, he talks about earlier in the same sentence, in the same context of the same article or same paragraph, he talks about those individuals who cut through red tape. Now, in this case, would red tape be doing something that wasn't permitted? That's what it seems like.
Yeah, I would hypothesize what he was referring to would have been if there is some statute or there is a law that is not permitting you to sign these agreements, then perhaps the direction needs to go that way to resolve those statutory bars.
Whatever it takes.
Correct.
Whatever it takes to get it done.
Yeah. And you know, Joe, when you look at this, you look at the Hoover District, you look at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, everybody wants to see success. Everyone wants to see that.
Yes.
You know, what I've learned over the years is that when I first started out serving as mayor back in 2005, sometimes your optimism, your desire to get something done outweighs your realism.
And reason.
And your reason. And you have, because you're nobody wants to fail. Nobody wants to look weak or pathetic publicly. So sometimes what you do is you mentally try to, ramp yourself up.
Yeah.
And but you've got to balance that with with the truth. You've got to be honest with yourself.
And what's right for your citizens
Absolutely.
at large. Now, I have to ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
The second phase of the Hoover District fell apart.
Mm-hmm.
There was multiple reasons, but there was one major reason. You were asked to do something by the developer that you refused to do that would have bound the citizens of North Canton to this project, correct? Talk about that.
Yeah, so what happened is after we had the first phase, which was really a great success, 12 new companies, 1,100 jobs, we're getting $500,000 in income tax from that project. The second phase, we needed more parking in order to bring in more businesses so that when people start working there, that there was a place for them to park their cars. So I had met with Stuart Lichter, and he said, we can bring in, we have a mechanism to borrow money, EB5 money, which is from foreign investors that can invest in certain areas like the Hoover District, and build a parking garage. I said, great. I think that a parking garage would be an incredible idea. And then he said, well, we'll bring in the papers tomorrow, and you can sign it. I said, I'm not. Why would you bring in papers for me to sign? Well, the city would have to sign on the loan. And I said, that'd be like, $10, $15 million? And I said, my God, the mortgage, the interest and principal payments over a 15-year period would cost more than what we're bringing in with the new jobs at the Hoover District. Well, you want jobs, don't you? Well, yes, but I'm not going to leverage the city or put the city in debt, risk the city's financial situation to do that. So I said, absolutely not. I mean, government is not there to take a risk. Government is there to follow a process, and it's a very conservative process so that, the government can't go bankrupt.
Right.
Private companies can take risks, and if they fail, then you foreclose on the property and you sell the property. But we can't do that in the government. That's why you have to have somebody like Alex that sets those boundaries and maintains those, and myself, right?
Because here's how government works. If you went into debt and you did this, then ultimately you would raise the taxes on the people in North Canton.
Absolutely.
Because governments always go back to the people.
Absolutely.
The full faith and credit of the taxpayer.
Yes. And so, and basically what we're doing, and that brought phase 2 to a complete halt.
Mm-hmm. Right. It was it was a series of items, and one is that, when you look at Stuart Lichter's business model, what he does is a lot of the funding or the money that he uses to build a project comes from the government. And if you have government funds in place through the form of grants or historical preservation tax credits or tax increment financing, all these various government funding sources, you'll have great success. But if that money's not available, the project stalls. So now in North Canton, are we going to provide additional property tax abatements for the project? Absolutely not. No. Meet the building code, meet the fire code, meet the US EPA regulations. It's very simple. Those are non-negotiables. When you look at the property tax that Alex is required by law to collect, if you're delinquent on your property tax, just like if you were, Joe, or I would be, Alex's office will send out a delinquency notice. You'll have a 10% penalty, and you pay it. If you don't, they could issue a tax lien certificate, or they could foreclose on the property in order to, meaning they could sell it to somebody else so that they can get their property tax. It's a real simple process.
By the way, Alex, I was wondering if you could sign, if you would sign a tax lien agreement for my house.
That would be no.
Okay. I was just wondering. I was taking a shot. I don't know. When we come back, I want to get more into this, get deeper into the tone of the conversations you've had and all the things like that. We're going to continue with Alex Zumbar and the North Canton Mayor, David Held, right after this.
We'll be back with more Joe Palmisano right after this. The news can change in a matter of minutes.
All of these things are happening
very, very quickly.
All at once.
Everybody here wants facts. Let's break this down.
Because big events happen every day.
We'll have to wait and see.
I don't have to wait until 5 o'clock news or the 11 o'clock news.
Breaking news when it happens.
To get to the bottom of what happened.
What's happening today.
What's happening right now really is unprecedented.
Bringing you the most interesting news of our times.
We're not looking to play games.
At the top and bottom of the hour, this is WHBC.
If you're looking for a car, there are many great car dealerships here in Stark County, many options, but there is not an Audi dealership. The only Audi dealership, the closest Audi dealership, happens to be the oldest Audi dealership in Ohio, owned by the same family that started it, Cascade Audi in Cuyahoga Falls on Old Route 8. And if you're looking for a car that gives you fun to drive, responsiveness like you wouldn't believe, safety to the highest level, comfort and convenience, all the things that you need in a car, it's all in an Audi. So I'm asking you, when you look at a car and you're looking to buy a new car, give Audi a try. This is my sixth one from the same dealership, and there's a reason. They give you service, they give you exactly what you need, and the Audi is unbelievable. Give Cascade Audi a call. Matt Rutherford is the sales manager. 330-929-1861, Cascade Audi.
Summer's here. Soak it in with a limited edition Labatt Blue Light Lime. Beer featuring your favorite crisp and refreshing summertime flavor. Here's to the taste of summer. The beer you love with a splash of citrus. Grab some Labatt Blue Light Lime packs while you can. Because like summer, they're only here for a limited time. Labatt Blue Light Lime. This is how we summer. While supplies last. Beer, Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. Always enjoy responsibly.
At St. Luke Lutheran Community, they celebrate the experience that comes with aging and, more importantly, the people who've shared those experiences. If you're considering rehabilitation, nursing, assisted living, memory support, or other senior living, come to St. Luke Lutheran Community to meet their residents and the dedicated staff who care for them. With a trusted reputation since 1954, St. Luke provides a safe, secure, and caring environment and can ease concerns about the well-being of your loved ones. Their North Canton campus, located on Apple Grove Street, offers a full range of care, including impressive independent living at the Waterford, active assisted living, compassionate skilled nursing and therapy, as well as comforting memory support services. They currently have openings in independent living and nursing care. Visit stlukelutherancommunity.org or call 330-499-8341 to schedule your tour today. 330-499-8341. That's 330-499-8341 for St. Luke Lutheran Community.
Calling all heroes. Put a smile on the face of a child in need. The 11th annual All Care Wish-a-thon begins August 9th. Help grant a wish. Details on WHBC.com.
Don't sit this one out. Here's Joe Palmisano on News Talk 1480 WHBC.
We are continuing with Stark County Treasurer Alex Zumbar and North Canton Mayor David Held. And here's what's going to happen. Here's my prediction. This is what happens in this. I have asked for conversations, lunch with many of the people at the table who are the elite people at the table. Mm-hmm. Nothing happens. Not even a, hey, maybe, you know? But there will be another article written. There will be people talking in public. There will be people giving speeches and talking about those people who are naysayers when we're not naysayers. But they still won't come to the table and just discuss. They won't bring us to the table. Instead, they will take shots from afar, like this article on July 8th. That's my prediction. That what will happen. But I do want to ask you this, and is there room at this table for someone who isn't in lockstep with the thinking? Is there? And do you think there ever will be?
Yeah, I think that, one thing that I've learned, I learned this lesson probably a little bit later in my career. I had a child that was, we have 6 kids, and my youngest daughter she was born with Down syndrome, right? And so when that first happened, we weren't expecting it. And the hardest part is learning to understand and deal with something that you didn't expect, and something that you have to work with, right? And what I learned is that, number one, you got to be honest with yourself before you can be honest with other people. And once you are, it makes life so much easier. So the challenges that you have when you're raising a special needs child, you can't buy your way out of it. You're not going to pray your way out of the situation. There's nothing you can do to change that, but what you learn to do is adjust your heart, you learn to adjust your mind, you will learn to adjust your attitude, and suddenly things become so much easier. Much easier.
And so what are you saying with this
with this situation now?
We're very divided.
Right.
We've got people on one side that are shooting arrows at the other. You've got, I'm sure everybody expected you to stay silent on this, Alex, while someone takes a shot at you in an editorial.
I think we've got to be honest about the situation. I mean, anytime you see a decision where people are not coming together, that makes it pretty clear that the solution is not a real easy one.
But you can't be honest about it when you don't have differing opinions. When everybody at the table is thinking one way, and then they're shooting arrows at the people saying, we can't even get him to the table. Well, no. Have they asked you to the table, Alex?
In my opinion, I would say I have never been invited to their table. Even though I've been out to the Hall of Fame multiple times, I have heard their leaders speak. They're very charismatic. I have always been open and accessible. But I have never been invited to any meeting of such table.
So why would he say trying to get you to the table would be impossible? It would be because they haven't asked you.
Well, that would be the first clue. Secondly, in regard to my position, I am what is called a creature of statute. So we are bound by specific rules and laws. And as administrative officials, that's what we will follow. That's what we live within. And
you don't have a choice.
Correct, because...
Well, you do. You have a choice. You have a choice. I mean, you can...
Well, it would be a bad choice.
Well, I mean, but you can make a lot of choices. There's people who made choices to value the stadium at $4.5 million. You can make a lot of choices.
Yeah, the valuation.
Yeah, I know you don't want to go there. The valuation.
The valuation, yeah, that is handled by a separate office, office holder. The treasurer is responsible for billing and collecting the taxes.
Right. Now let me ask you a question real quick. What has been the tone of the conversations you had up until the most recent one? When people were asking you, were they asking you, or were they kind of demanding that you do this?
Generally, the conversations I've had have always been civil, and they always will be. In regard to my legal counsel, I know that my legal counsel had been asked repeatedly over and over, and I kept getting phone calls. Have you decided to change your mind? Have you decided to sign the agreement? And my answer was always no.
It's not permitted.
Exactly. My legal counsel always advised me it wasn't permitted, and I would refer them back to the same statutes, and they said, well, we had to ask, because we were asked again. And I have never failed to follow that legal advice.
Have you ever had a confrontation about this?
With whom?
With anyone.
Yes, I have.
Where you felt like it was almost threatening?
No.
Politically?
Politically, yes. I would definitely say that would be something that was discussed. And again, I explained the statutory permissions and what I was not permitted to do. And again, the discussion was civil, but clearly there were some things that were said that...
You know, Joe, when you think about it, you had mentioned this a number of months back, and I think what's...
Are you bailing him out?
No, I'm sitting here watching. We got 1 minute left.
Okay,
and I thought,
go
I'm
ahead.
going to squeeze this
Go
one
ahead,
in
go
here.
ahead,
You know,
go ahead.
You know about the reset. Press the reset button. Let's press the. You know, when your computer locks up, you press the reset button, right? And let's have an open discussion, and let's invite all sides. You know, a public, open, transparent discussion. I mean, that's what's going to strengthen the community. It's not the challenges that we face, it's how we face the challenges. And if you bring both sides, my city administrator in North Canton was really what I would call probably, you know, what some would refer to as my arch nemesis on council, Pat DiOrio. He made it real difficult for me for the first 4 years as mayor. And, you know, I considered him as my human sandpaper. Right? Because
and you promoted him to,
and now I asked him to hire. We hired him to be the city administrator, and it's been great because you want people to say, "Is this a good idea?
Not in this case.
Why are you doing this?
Not in this case."
Yeah, because when we have something that's not going right and we remain silent, does that weaken us or strengthen us as a person?
It weakens us.
It weakens us. What does that do to the organization and what does it do to the community when the leaders are weakened because they don't want to speak up? And I understand that. There's been so many times in my role where I thought, oh, I'm not saying anything.
We're going to continue this thing on leadership. I'm going to ask you guys, I was only going to give you an hour. But we need to continue this because I want to talk about leaders, what a leader really is. Mm-hmm. Stay tuned. We're going to continue with Alex Zumbar and North Canton Mayor David Held right after this.
be back with more Joe Palmisano right after this.
Hey folks, Jay David here. You know, if it's Saturday, it's another edition of Local Places and Local Faces. We'll keep you in touch with hometown happenings. Plus, I'll have a little coffee talk with local guests. And we'll have fun features. Oh, and phone features too. Join me this Saturday at 12 noon for Local Places and Local Faces. It's live. It's local. It's 1480 WHBC.
When the need for senior care arises, there's no place like home. Your loved ones should never have to give up living at home. Visiting Angels will provide home care for your mom or dad at home up to 24 hours per day, including personal care, meals, and light housework. You'll select your professional caregiver with Visiting Angels. Look up visitingangels.com or call 877-374-LIVE. That's 877-374-LIVE. Franchises are available. Visiting Angels, America's choice in senior home care.
July is for celebration, vacation, and relaxation. And it's the best time to stock up on salon professional hair care at the Ulta Beauty Jumbo event. Get up to 50% off jumbo-sized bottles of shampoos and conditioners from most loved brands like Redken, Matrix, and Pureology. You'll also get free gifts with purchase from favorites like Drybar, Living Proof, and Diva Curl. But if you want the best prices of the season, you'll have to act fast. Ulta Beauty's Jumbo event ends July 28th, so hurry in.
WHBC AM Canton, brought to you by Friends and Family Credit Union, providing financial needs to all of Stark County. It's time to bring a friend into the family on News Talk 1480 WHBC.
A focus on Medicaid, a hot-button issue in Ohio's governor's race. Good morning. We'll have that story coming up on 1480 WHBC News. AccuWeather forecast, scattered showers, perhaps a thunderstorm today. Highs in the upper 70s, maybe around 80. We currently have 69 degrees. This news brought to you by our friends at the Athens Restaurant. One of the hot-button issues in Ohio's upcoming gubernatorial race is Medicaid expansion.
In saying that the Republican ticket for governor supports keeping Medicaid expansion for all 700,000 Ohioans, but adding in work requirements and wellness programs, Lieutenant Governor candidate John Husted also said this.
The people eligible for Medicaid expansion are adults who earn up to 138% of poverty. There are no children covered under Medicaid expansion.
And that is true. Husted made that statement after a claim by Democrats that thousands of children would lose health care coverage if Medicaid expansion were rolled back or shut down. Democrats walked back that claim, but their candidate for governor, Richard Cordray, said this about changing Medicaid expansion.
If you start taking health care away from 700,000 Ohioans, it's going to affect children, it's going to affect families, it's going to distract people from being able to manage their health care problems because now they have a financial problem on top of it.
And depending on the changes, that is potentially true as well.
In other Ohio news, many political analysts now believe Governor John Kasich may take on President Trump for the top job in the country in 2020.
Kasich won't say he's running, of course, but he's often in the news talking about national politics and recently spoke to the Columbus Metropolitan Club about it.
I practice in politics the old philosophy you do in basketball. Just hang around the hoop and see if the ball bounces off. Because if you're sitting on the bench, you aren't going to get a rebound. But if you're in the game, you can.
Some speculate Kasich could run as an independent in the presidential election. Dave James, ONN News.
Well, there's concerns over the new driver's licenses here in the Buckeye State.
They're no longer being made at the BMV branches. Instead, they're all printed at a central location and then mailed to you. But during that waiting period, the BMV will issue a temporary ID. Well, we've learned, though, the TSA will not accept that temporary ID at the airport.
If you want to travel, you need to make sure that you have either a valid driver's license or a state photo identity card that's issued by the Department of Motor Vehicles. If you don't have that, a U.S. passport works as well.
It seems residents in Massillon are stuck with that wait-and-see scenario on two major issues there, although talks are moving ahead. And reported to be positive, there's still no news on negotiations to bring a new hospital or emergency room service with trauma and cardiac care to the city. Residents are also waiting to see what happens with the city's reservoir dam. The historical waterfall was removed and the reservoir's water base was redesigned as a stream because of orders issued by the EPA and the ODNR due to safety concerns. The city has proposed plans on the table but cannot move ahead until they get the green light from the ODNR. That's what's happening this hour. Your AccuWeather forecast coming your way next. More news at 10:30. Good morning.
Here's your AccuWeather.com forecast. A mostly cloudy, humid day ahead for today with a couple of showers and perhaps a thunderstorm. The high 78. Shower thunderstorm lingers tonight, low 61. And with clouds, we'll see a couple more showers and storms tomorrow, high 78 again. Monday, a little sunshine returns, warm and humid, up to 83 with a shower thunderstorm around in the afternoon. I'm meteorologist Bill Dagger for News Talk 1480 WHBC.
It's Kenny and JT.
How are you today, Joe? I actually watched the National Cornhole Professional Championship, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? This lady just got hired by ESPN, and they said, here's your first assignment. You're going to go down and do a cornhole championship, and she's going, what?
Joe, I could have handled that. Joe, the rotation you put on that bag when you throw it, are you one that looks for the arc, or are you going straight at it based on the slide effect of the board that you're throwing the bag on? See, I could ask those questions.
I tell you what the question would have been. Hey, that was a great throw, Joe. Were you drunk just now?
It's Kenny and JT. Weekdays between 3 and 7 on WHBC.
We're here with Ted from Athens Restaurant. Ted, tell us about your gyro.
First of all, it's gyro. You tell me, when's the last time you have authentic Greek gyro? From the gas station? You know, my family bring the gyro from Greece over 40 years ago to Canton, Ohio. Not 40. Everyone think they know the gyro. The feta cheese, tomato, tzatziki sauce. But there is only one place that has the Greek attitude. And that is only at Athens Restaurant on the corner of 9th and Harrison Southwest. I see you there. Kaliorix.
Athens Restaurant, where they'll serve you fast, no matter how long it takes.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't done yet. To celebrate the 40 years of the gyro in Canton, Ohio, we have created something very special for our family, our friends, and our customers. It is called the Gyro Bowl. So please stop into Athens Restaurant on the corner of 9th Street and Harrison Avenue and ask them to make you one today. I promise you will not be disappointed. Okay, now I'm done. I said I'm done now. You can shut it off. Thank you. Do you know how to work this machine or not? Push the red button. It's over.
Life changes, and when that occurs, St. Joseph Senior Living is the first call you should make. Independent living at the Alsatian, perfect solution for older adults who are still active but need someone close. Assisted living provides 24/7 care. The nursing center provides medical care for short-term or long-term patients, and a memory care center offers a safe environment for those dealing with dementia or Alzheimer's. To schedule a tour, call Beth at 330-875-5562 or go to stjosephseniorliving.org.
Summer's here. Soak it in with a limited edition Labatt Blue Light Lime. Beer featuring your favorite crisp and refreshing summertime flavor. Here's to the taste of summer. The beer you love with a splash of citrus. Grab some Labatt Blue Light Lime packs while you can. Because like summer, they're only here for a limited time. Labatt Blue Light Lime. This is how we summer. While supplies last. Beer, Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. Always enjoy responsibly.
Good morning, I'm Dave Sheets. Here's a look at your sports. Carlos Carrasco gets the start tonight as the Cleveland Indians take on the Texas Rangers in Game 2 of a weekend series. Carrasco will be opposed by veteran Bartolo Colon for Texas. The Tribe a winner in 11 innings last night, beating the Rangers by a final score of 9-8. Well, if you're a fan of the Indianapolis Colts, you were thrilled with the words from Colts general manager Chris Ballard to the media yesterday about veteran quarterback Andrew Luck.
He's in a good place. He's ready to go. Him and Frank and our training staff and our strength staff have a great plan in place for him. We're going to treat it just like the regular season. He'll have some off days, but those days he's going, he'll be full tilt and ready to go.
Ballard spoke to a group of media members after a tour of the team's new training facility yesterday. Luck will take starting quarterback reps when the team has its first practice next Thursday. And free agent forward Michael Beasley has reached an agreement on a one-year deal with the Los Angeles Lakers. The 29-year-old Beasley is coming off a bounce-back season with the New York Knicks. In 74 games in New York, he averaged just over 13 points and 5.5 rebounds per game. I'm Dave Sheets. That's a look at your sports.
It's the week that was with Joe Palmisano.
We are continuing our discussion with Stark County Treasurer Alex Zumbar and North Canton Mayor David Held. I wanted to talk about leadership when we wrap this up. we've all been in leadership roles. I've been a head coach. I've coached. I own a business with my partner. We co-lead that. Leaders, you brought this up, David, and I'm reiterating this, that leaders are people. We've got a lot of leaders in this community. We've got a lot of people who are leading, but they are leading in one direction, and they don't want dissenting opinion or anybody who questions anything. True leaders are people who, like you said with your county administrator or your city administrator, you listen to both sides. You make decisions based on a compromise, based on what is actually happening. True leaders do not sit back and nobody has taken responsibility for how the stadium got to be $150 million from 25. I have not heard anybody step forward and say it was my choice. Leaders don't allow projects to go into debt without having the money. Leaders don't take shots at treasurers who aren't permitted to sign something that they know is not right, and then continually ask them to do it. Leaders do not ignore offers to meet. You know, I actually had a leader who I sent an email to, and I said, I know you've been saying things behind my back about me, about Martin, about anybody who disagrees. And it's not disagreeing on the project, it's disagreeing on the method used to complete the project. And I actually got a return email that said, I'm shocked you're threatening me. And I said, I'm shocked that you consider a lunch invitation a threat. You know, but to this day, I've never met this individual. I have repeatedly asked David Baker to lunch through another person. I have repeatedly tried to get people, but yet I'm not at the table. But I know that these people talk about me. I don't care, you know. But I guess what I'm saying is a leader gathers those who disagree, those who agree,
absolutely,
around a table, and you sit and talk.
Absolutely. Because when you look at it like this, Joe, if you have, I mean, my gosh, back in freshman year in high school, the debate class, the debate team, you know, you prepare for both sides of the issue that you're going to debate on, and they tell you right before the debate which side you have to defend. And if you take that approach, if you're able to look at the perspective of the other side, of the other individuals involved, it's very, very powerful. Because one of the things that I've learned over the years is the ideas that I have are not always the best ideas. I believe that they are at the time, but it's not until you go through that refinement process. It's not until you have, whether it's your wife or your children or your coworkers or your city administrator or your city council. Somebody said to me one time, wouldn't it be great if you had all your buddies on city council? I said, that would be a disaster.
Yeah.
It would be a total disaster. They go, well, why do you say that? I go, because I don't want people who think like me.
Right.
I need people that are going to refine and challenge the ideas that I have.
And when you don't do that, when you have a bunch of people around you who basically rubber stamp what you ask for, and you don't allow confrontation by others, it looks like to the community that your position is indefensible.
That's right. It weakens your position.
And then when you come out and take pot shots at one of those people or many of those people, that even looks worse. And that, in my opinion, is what happened to you on July 8th, Alex. And I know that person apologized to you. But it was never retracted. A formal apology was never posted. So to the public, it looks like Alex Zumbar is an obstructionist.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the intention that a logical person or a reasonable person would conclude from that article.
And instead, all you were doing was what was right, and all you were doing was what was directed and what was permitted by you.
Yes, legal counsel's advice.
Yes.
I mean, Joe, when you look at, it's really, really tough when you're in a difficult situation to look at the truth. It's really tough to be honest with ourselves and say, gosh, what did I do wrong? How could I have handled this differently? But once you embrace it, it's freedom. I mean, it feels real good. When you had called me a number of months ago to come down to the radio station and answer questions, I've always had a policy. Whether it's your radio program, whether it's Robert Wang at the Canton Repository, who was a tough
Why
reporter.
isn't he doing some of the stories on this?
I don't know.
You can't answer that. I'm sorry.
Right, that we can only hypothesize, but really we can't answer that.
Okay.
But when you start going through, I've always felt that if somebody asks a question, you answer it. If Marty Olson puts his camera in front of my face for 35 minutes, I will answer every one of his questions. And the challenge, and what I used to do when I first started, is that when someone asks you a difficult question that maybe you're not prepared to answer, or maybe you don't want to answer it because it'll make you look bad, you start to give your message on the position and you avoid the question. And I had a good friend of mine who told me a number of years ago, he said, ATM, practice ATM. I go, what's ATM? He said, whenever anyone asks you a question, if you want to have credibility and you want people to respect your position, answer the question, then transition to your message. And oftentimes, it's human nature when we're asked difficult questions, we want to defend ourselves. It's like, do you support this or do you not? Answer the question. And then give your support behind it. And that's what Alex, I mean, his character is intact. Yeah. He worked as the city finance director in North Canton. I mean, he is intact. And he will make sure that he is doing what is best for the people. You have the county commissioners. Commissioner Janet Creighton. She's the one that initiated this in the beginning and asked for an open, honest discussion.
Right.
Maybe that's what needs to happen about getting them to the table. Let's have a big, open, honest discussion, and let's talk about this.
We would
bring it all out. Just bring it out. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And Joe, you brought this brought this about too on the Saturday morning program. Hey, come on down and answer questions. Now, do you think that I'm not nervous when I'm driving in my car, thinking, oh gosh, am I doing the right thing?
I
of course, you get uncomfortable. When Alex is getting ready to send out a letter that he knows that there's people in position of power that don't like that. Do you think that he's not thinking that, boy, this could be a problem?
Yeah, but sitting back is not an option either. And when the environment of the debate switches from honest and open discussion to a refusal to meet, to shots being thrown in sentences in an editorial, to discussions behind the table, to speeches that are given in public that mention the naysayers, and talk about how great the other people are that don't answer questions, that don't ask questions, then you get into a toxic situation and where we are. And we've got to wrap this up, but I commend both of you for being here. Alex, I wanted you to have a chance to speak your mind. Mayor Held, as always, I want you to have a place to speak your mind, because people can't be allowed to just take shots at elected officials because they're doing their job. And these things need to be continually addressed. And I, for one, don't want this to happen in our community. I want us to come together. I want the Hall of Fame project to work.
Absolutely.
I want it to work reasonably. I want it to work successfully. I want it can't be, it's not going to be Disneyland.
No.
It's not. But it can be a very effective part of our community and a very vital part of our community if done properly, not done in a way that's going to put the citizens of Stark County at risk. And I thank you both for standing up and doing that. And I appreciate both of you very, very much.
Well, I appreciate, Joe, I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to talk. And again, it's, I know that everybody involved with the project, they want it to succeed. I know that, our community leaders want it to succeed. Well, we all want that. Alex wants that. Joe, you want that. And, but at the same time, we've got to be honest with ourselves and we've got to look at the truth about the circumstances. And if we look the other way, because God knows I've done that so many times, in my life, and what happens, you weaken yourself. You weaken the organization, you weaken the community that you represent. But when you face the challenges, you strengthen yourself and you strengthen your community and you strengthen the people around you, because that's what calls people to a higher standard.
I agree.
And when I'm with both of you that are willing to stand up and ask questions, the county commissioner is willing to stand up, and that inspires me. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you so much, both of you. Alex Zumbar, Stark County Treasurer, and North Canton Mayor David Held. As always, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thanks.
We'll be right back.